Number 1, Alabama dropping to 5th after their loss to Texas A&M. By the way, I'm at the fight at Wilder and Fury, and I'm like, Wilder is not entering the ring. What's going on? And I'm following the game on my phone, and maybe 90 seconds after the game ended, they were in the ring. Georgia jumps to number 1. Rankings reaction is brought to you by Wendy's. Get a sausage or bacon, egg, and Swiss croissant for just $1.99 at Wendy's during breakfast hours only, limited time only. Price and participation may vary. And to talk about the impact that Alabama losing has on the college football playoff, we bring in the great Heather Dinich. Good morning, Heather. Where is she there?
Good morning. How you guys doing?
Good this morning, Heather.
I'm here.
Good. So Alabama falls to 5 after losing to Texas A&M. Heather, what does this mean for their playoff chances?
Well, look, the reality of the situation is Alabama is now in must-win mode. And I want everybody to think about this scenario because it could happen. So Alabama wins the West, goes to the SEC championship, and loses to Georgia, which ESPN's Football Power Index now projects. So you have Georgia winning, handing Alabama their second loss. Guys, think about the top 4 and how hard this would be for the selection committee because you've got Georgia, the SEC champ, you've got the Big Ten champ. I'm going Buckeyes there, right? And then what do? I'm not putting in the ACC champ. I don't think they do either. Do they go Oregon, Cincinnati, Oklahoma? Let's go Oklahoma. Then who gets that 4th spot? Right? I mean, think about that. So that's what that Alabama loss does, is it puts them in must-win situation, and the SEC can still get 2 teams in because if Alabama does win the SEC championship with 1 loss and knocks off Georgia, they probably take both of those teams. But I don't think they take Alabama with a second loss if they don't win the SEC.
Heather, Ohio State is all of a sudden back up to number 6 after losing to Oregon in week 2. How concerned should the rest of the nation be about the Buckeyes getting that 4th spot?
Very concerned. Look, my top 4 this week pained me because I struggled with what I'm seeing on the field versus rewarding teams with what they have done. And that's going to be the committee's challenge. And my top 4 is Georgia, Iowa, Cincinnati, and Oklahoma. I think Ohio State can beat Iowa, right? I do. I look at what I'm seeing on the field right now, and I don't think Iowa has the offensive power to hang with the Buckeyes. So very concerned. And I think right now the game of the second half of the season is going to be Ohio State, Michigan. Let's fast forward to that one.
You know, I was going to ask you about Iowa being at number 2. I know they're number 2. I know they're undefeated. But are they really the number 2 team in the country? I know they're secondary. They're creating turnovers and interceptions like no other. But are they really the number 2 team in the country?
This week, they are. They have to be, in my mind, because you do have to reward them for what they've done on the field to this point. But here's the thing. You can even nitpick that win against Penn State, because anyone who watched that realizes that after Sean Clifford got injured and left that game, Penn State's offense was not the same. I'm not going to sit here and say that Penn State would have won definitively with Clifford in that game, because they were having some problems of their own, but 8 false starts, guys, after he left the game is insane. But you have to give Iowa credit. Their quarterback, Spencer Petras, got off real slow, and then he turned it around, and they did what they had to do. And you have to give that defense and special teams credit for what they were able to do against Penn State.
Heather, how would the committee handle that?
That's a great question. So everybody knows their first ranking doesn't come out until November 2nd. So there's a lot of time for Iowa, undefeated teams, 1-loss teams to still impress them. But there are 8 new faces in that selection committee meeting room this fall. That is a lot. One of the people coming back is a coach, Tyrone Willingham. He was on the first selection committee. So you balance what you see on tape, and they go through the film with the resume, and strength of schedule is so important. So I think they still reward Iowa for what they've done to this point, but I would expect it to be fluid and change.
Heather, how would you view Oklahoma watching that game the other day versus Texas, down 21 points at the half? Caleb Williams comes in the second half, starts doing his thing. But are they a team that you think they'll be in the conversation when it's all said and done?
I do, because, well, let's see what Lincoln Riley does with the quarterback situation. Williams was outstanding. What a spark he brought to them. But my goodness, Spencer Rattler came off the bench, and Lincoln Riley talked about how he came in for one of the most important plays of the game, and he got it done. You just can't turn the ball over, or you're going to go sit on the bench in a game like that because you can't win it with those turnovers. So I think if Oklahoma continues to progress and figures out their identity at quarterback offensively, yes, 100%, and they've got more opportunities. I'm excited about that Oklahoma State game to see how they fare, but you should see the Sooners in the Big 12 championship based on what we've seen to this point.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.